Hello there, and welcome to Corey Loses, where today we are starting a brand new Thrawn's Revenge version 3.2 preview playthrough as the Greater Maldrood in Crimson Empire. So we are going to be doing an Ariadu playthrough on a bigger map coming up soon, but I also wanted to do a few of these shorter campaigns of some of the other factions to make sure we can show off as much as possible as we lead up to the beta period and release for the 3.2 versions of the mod. So, we are going to be doing Crimson Empire, like I said, 57 planets. A bit of a difficult start for Maldrood from what I remember. It's not a map that we've played on the channel before, I don't think. Maybe we have once a few years ago, but there's a lot to look at between the roster updates for Greater Maldrood and the other Warlord factions, legitimacy mechanics for all the Imperial factions, and some other stuff thrown in there as well. So let's get started. This will be going most days a week up until we start the Ariadu playthrough at least. So let's take a look at our starting point here. The Emperor is gone, but Maldrood lives. Kosh is attempting to hold our mid-rim territory, and I plan to take advantage of the disorganized forces in the core to establish our dominance. So we have... I'm going to turn this on. So we have 3 planets in the core, then we have Commodore and Jindine in the, I guess, the expansion regions. Then there is Roche, Tagoria, and Centaurus. So we have an okay set of planets to start with, but we're very split up. So it looks like we're going to want to take Corellia first, and we are going to want to take Metalorn as well. So those will be our main targets for now. Let's take a look at what we want to build on ground. I'm going to sell some of the units that aren't part of our main roster. Then we'll get you and some speeders. On Roche, let's get some more strike cruisers. And on Tagoria, how are we doing with ground as well? Let's get another ITT, and we'll get a heavy vehicle factory on Tagoria because we're gonna need some more ground production. Once we have those units, we'll build another heavy factory there. So basically, the way that Maldrood's roster works on ground and in space, really, they're more about small mobile units. They get a lot of good use out of tenders in space because they have a lot of units that are under the targetable hardpoint cutoff, which means that things like strike cruisers and KRX Vigils, these are all units that'll benefit a lot from fleet tenders. And in their bigger battlecruiser class, they have the Altor, which is the biggest and best fleet tender in the game. So rather than having like a Praetor or some big combat-oriented tender like that, they're able to use their larger ships more in a supportive role, which is why for even their mainline capital ships, they have the Tector and ISD, which are a bit less, a bit more of a supportive capital ship than the ISD-2, which can do a lot more hull damage directly. It's like ISD-1s and Tectors, you get a lot of ion damage, but having them support something else that's going to do a lot of the hull damage, like a strike cruiser, tends to work out a little bit better. But let's see. We are going to attack Corellia. Do we want to just use Tavira's fleet with Pterodok for that? Yeah, let's let these guys build up first, because we're going to need the ground units if we want to attack anyways. So, you know what? I'm going to get a light and a heavy vehicle factory there. Evac, we can't build up more than that. And that should be enough ground units once all those are done. So, for our Pathfinder, let's just pop one of those in there. We'll get another one so we have it up with the rest of the fleet. And then we're going to go straight into Corellia before they have a chance to build it up some more. Ariadu has taken Abrigado Ray. I think we're lowest on the legitimacy poll right now. Actually, we're above Ariadu and Zinj, which is technically not on the map. So, all right, let's see. Get into our Pathfinder slot and let's go. Get our first invasion going quickly here. Taking Corellia. They won't have too many defensive forces on a lot of these early planets. Coruscant is pretty stacked, but a lot of the other ones, especially these isolated ones, I don't think are. One of the things that we do really want to work on going into point 3 is going to be on planet choices and starting forces and stuff for a lot of the maps. But anyways, let's take a look at our Altor. Oh, get out of there. But yeah, so it's not the most combat focused. It's a nice model by Oz, texture by Mr. Puerto Rican. But what I can do is make sure that we can stay safe with our smaller frigates. We'll drop Tavira in as well. Customs Corvette, Patrol Cruiser, and Star Galleon. So a lot of variety in the frigate range, a lot of different weapon types in the frigate range. So whatever damage type you're looking for, you can get out of one of their frigates. They have a lot of good tender options to keep those frigates around. So it's a pretty different style to how you might be used to playing a lot of other Imperials in the mod so far. But it's a bit more similar to the Hapens, where the Hapens are more quality over quantity, the Maldrood are the quantity over quality as far as the small ship users go. Alright, since we do have the support of our tenders around, we can pretty safely use power to weapons, I think. And you can keep going up there. We do need to be a little bit more careful with our larger ships, because they don't benefit as much from the tenders. But as long as the Altor is alive, these guys should be getting enough healing that they're not going to be a problem with just an assault cruiser or assault frigate. All right. We do still need to do a bit of a pass on how we want the tenders to work. So a lot of the numbers for the tenders are fairly rough, and it'll probably even be changing over the course of this playthrough, which will be going up most days, at least until the Ariado playthrough starts. Because once this one is done, I think we might actually get into the Haven one. So I just want to make sure we can show as many of the units as possible, or of the factions as possible, as we get into the release, because they've all changed a lot. All right, we got the double tenders. But yeah, they need more than strike cruisers to take them down. If they focus down the Altor, they might have actually been able to get through the shields there. Okay. Nice try, New Republic. Oh. Alright, let's turn them around. And even just the smaller frigates should be able to handle this. As long as we have the Star Galleon with it. And you guys go out there. I mean, I'll try to send the Altor over there. It's going to be a bit slower. Alright, raid fleet. And the CSA, not on the map. So you get nothing out of this CSA. Thanks for playing. I said we needed to keep them together, but then I just didn't even send the smaller one over there. So we got our Customs Corvette with 6 heavy dual rapid lasers. I know there are some people who like to screenshot some of the stat pages off the Let's Plays to see what the ships are able to do, so I'll try to oblige with some of them. 22 mediums for the Altor, 5 light quad turbos, 2 concussion missiles. Like, it's not nothing, but for a ship with 70 pop cap, most of that pop cap is going into the fleet tending.
The invidious is mine to command.
Okay. So these guys with the rapid lasers basically are the ones that are able to do the point defense, which is what takes down missiles. So against ships with like heavy munitions or against fighters and bombers, they're going to be especially useful. Which is going to be good for fighting the New Republic later on. Do we have vehicles there? No, just the infantry. But we can actually bring in some of these. So Commodore, you need... I'm going to get an advanced vehicle factory on Commodore. And on Jindine, I'm going to get 2 heavy vehicle factories. Then in space, we'll get a couple Guardian light cruisers there. And we'll get some customs light corvettes there. Our conquered Ithor. I'm not sure whether the Empire is going to come out on top of the Pentastar alignment up here. But we'll see what happens. It'd be nice if we could get in through Onderon and bring in some of those forces together. So maybe we'll do that now before we invade. We'll want to build up Roche to be a level 5. I don't want to leave it without a fleet right now, but I kind of have to. And I want to try to get our legitimacy up so that once the Imperial factions are lowered to only 3 planets, they're joining us instead. This is probably a map where the legitimacy requirements upon release are actually going to be down to 1 planet or 2 planet required to reduce another Imperial faction to before it'll join someone else. Because that's one of the main things where with legitimacy is that if one of the 5 Imperial factions gets down to 3 planets or fewer, depending on the map, they will join whichever faction is the most legitimate. Oh, look at that. Got another raid. But we have a pretty decent fleet here to just blow through the... Blow through the Golan. So, yeah, we need to keep an eye on our legitimacy. And hopefully we'll be able to take enough planets that they join us rather than joining... I think the Empire right now is the most legitimate. Alright. So rather than taking Onderon right away, we are going to send our forces into Corellia, take Corellia, then take Onderon. And where will that place us? So Empire is at 25. They're the ones that we need to catch up to... Or no, they're at 41. 25%. They are the ones we need to catch up to. We're tied with the Pentastar alignment. So if we can take a planet from the Empire, that'd be nice. But it looks like they're going to be taking planets from the New Republic instead. Novartis' foolish actions have left us no choice but to join forces. Ariadu will join the highest legitimacy Imperial faction at the end of the week. Yeah. They got reduced down. It is something that's going to scale by different maps, because obviously on a smaller map, if you're only starting with 5 planets, you get down to 3 pretty quickly. But that's what happened to Ariadu there. So the faction leader does need to be defeated, which is something that hasn't been implemented yet. But yeah, the Empire is going to be really integrating probably the PA soon too as well. So they're who we're going to be competing with. Which does mean one of the things that it does help with is okay, cool. It typically means the Empire itself will be the Imperial faction that sticks around longest. Because they typically, just because the planets they control, will end up having the highest legitimacy. I want to get in here, even though we have pretty few ground units, or little variety in ground units right now, before they build up even more structures on Corellia, or even more units, because I don't think they have too many just yet. But having planets like Coruscant and and Kuat will help boost our legitimacy as well. Taking Coruscant and taking Kuat are also pretty close to guaranteed legitimacy group unlock, so getting the extra sets of heroes and such. Alright, so let's get a little transport for us and some mats. Okay. You see how bad the texture is on some of the base game props with that. Okay, there. I'm just going to send them over there. Those shadows out of here. Start loading up the transports. You two go over there. You over there. Two of you out this way. Two of you out this way. So yeah, a lot of good transport options, a lot of good movement type options. Not too much in the way of like individually super heavy vehicles for Maldrood, but what they do have is still pretty good. All right, you over there. Let's take these guys out. Okay, hopefully we'll be able to grab this landing zone. Get some support for this. I probably shouldn't have split them up, but I wanted to make sure we'd get at least one of these. Alright, did we lose both of the MA? Yeah. I should send in some more of those there. And I'm gonna get a repair station on that one. Alright, let's get a field base for us. Do we want the military field base, the scouting field base, the military field base. Got some extra field base options there for Maldrood right now. Alright, and I want to get repairs so we can repair them. Meanwhile, you guys can keep walking. I probably won't send the remaining RTTs into battle, because the other one's dead. So I think that unit's gone anyways, actually. Okay, none of you should be taking cover right now. You should just be running in, because they're already in combat for you. Okay, focus on that if you can. You guys do the same. And you in here. See if they can get over there a bit faster. And we'll just hold on this position. Okay. Fighting anti-infantry tanks is going to be a little bit tougher for you, but there's enough of you that it shouldn't be the end of the world. All right, take cover there. Come on in. Oh, no, that's an AA turret. That's an AA turret. That's an AA turret. Destroy that, please. You guys over here. You can help them. We'll take this field base out. And then I think we will want a sensor. Alright, Mats. The AA turret's down so you can come back in. These are going to be our only stormtroopers, the starting forces ones, for a while, because we aren't going to be able to build any more until we can integrate the Imperial Remnant. Because if you integrate Maldrood, you get Crimson Command VSDs. If you integrate the Empire, you unlock access to stormtroopers. So only one of those factions can build the stormtroopers at any given time. All right, we've basically cleared out this area. Let's get ready to move into the next one. Get some more stormtroopers in here. I think we've lost a few of the actual units. All right, what do you got for me over there? Oh, I thought that was an AA turret hitting us. This is the senator's office. Some of the structure models have been swapped out. There's still a collection of different base game models until we have some extra time and resources to do new building models for different factions. But rather than using the same tax agency model for everything, there's now at least a bit more variety. All right, you guys get over there. And you guys are done as well. Move them up here. I think this is the tankiest structure they'll have. So let's go and use our units on the harder to kill stuff. Or the easier to kill stuff. We're leaving? Cool. CEC. CEC is now CE me. The CEO. I mean, that's 3 of the 5 letters in my name, so what else could I be expected to believe there? All right, that's good. That sets us up with some decent borders. We can take some of the Imperial planets to equalize some of the legitimacy there. But I think we want to take Kuat first, because that's another planet that'll shrink some of our borders. Well, not really. They'll still have access to Bothawai, but they can come in that way. And well, let's build some more ground units first. Definitely want another MAT. Need money. Okay, I should stop this and do some economic stuff. I think we might be able to actually take Kuat, though. I think that's probably worth it with what we have right now. I don't want to overextend, but because we can take Kuat and we can take the graveyard. That'll be some good bonus legitimacy. Maybe this will be tougher. Who would have thought that they'd protect Kuat? Not me. Especially with the level 4 shipyard. Capitals. I don't know. This is might be a bad idea. Alright, let's see what damage we can do here. Make sure we're relying on some of that. And try to break through with power to weapons. Between Pterodok and the Altor, you might have it. Like, if we can focus enough. There's that. Okay, yeah. With the command bonus, with the power to weapons. Yeah. We just need to make sure we have their main units killed before they get the stuff in from the shipyard. The Altor is very close to being down here. Finish off that. Then we got to take down the MC-80Bs. Move them forward a little bit. Aerodoc, get up there.
A pirate's life suits me.
All right, there's one of the MC-80Bs. Shields down. Altor shields are super close to being down. But I think we've taken out a lot of their hull damage. Or a lot of their shield damage. Let's try to swap on that. And okay, you're good. You move up. Shields are about to be down. Okay, if they had like one more capital ship, we probably would have been in trouble, but it was going to take a bit for that one to get up here. Don't go too far away from your protection. Alright, and this is about half of our total possible pop cap. So, like, the Altor is eating a lot of potential damage output to keep our frigates alive. But if we can manage our damage well enough, we'll be in good shape. I think we're doing.
Well, of course you want to speak to me.
All right, let's go strike crew or assault frigate by assault frigate on this. It'll be a bit quicker to take them down, even though we do have powered weapons back. I don't trust going past it.
Mine to command.
Is Tavira's tier? No, she's only tier 4. For some reason I thought she was tier 2. Pterodoc is. Oh, he's tier 3. Okay, never mind. It's all
Well, of course you want to speak to
It's
me.
all a lie. My life is a lie. Okay, power to weapons. Power to weapons. Move you up. Get some more anti-fighter up there. You as well. Don't be shy. There we go. Alright, let's start making our way towards
Of
this,
course you want to speak to me.
the Golan.
He doesn't.
Okay, they're starting to damage the Altor. Be careful. Let's get some little fighter healing going out there. Over to you.
Leonia Tavira. Tear them apart.
Alright. We are losing some Altor there, so we I think we should stay killing the Golan. Let's not overshoot here.
Of course you want to speak to me.
Okay, you guys stay there. Stargallion, move up a bit. And fighters, get up a little bit more. Maldrood doesn't have the most bomber options, so
Tavira here.
it is a small ship faction that doesn't have the most carrier focus. But we've got enough anti-fighter ships that, like, we'll still have some bombers coming out, but most of our focus with our fighters is going to be keeping them off of things like the Altor. Whenever we're fighting against the PA and the New Republic. Because they're going to be able to hammer the Altor pretty hard with carrier fleets when they have them. So our job is make sure that doesn't happen. Alright. We can go for the Dreadnought shipyard now.
The invidious is mine to command.
Cool. Got it. Got it. Got it. Alright. Probably are gonna go for the core earliest,
Admiral to
rather than trying to take the rim. I think taking as much core territory as we can, especially right now while we're trying to compete with the Empire for legitimacy. We'll see if we can take Legitimacy's lead before they integrate the Pentastar alignment, because it looks like they're on the verge of doing that. But do we need more? Yeah, we need more. We need more before we can get any of that. Let's get some artillery. Let's get being able to access Centaurus through Metalorn would be nice too. So maybe we'll build up another fleet here. We've got Pelion, we've got Kosh there. All right. Well, I think that's actually a good place to leave it for today. So, hope you are looking forward to this playthrough as we go through and check out the Greater Maldrood. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and hope to see you next time. Bye, everyone.